what's happening, y'all? How you doing out there? Another beautiful day here. Welcome to another episode of Getting Stoned with your host, Mr. Stone Witowski, live and direct from Mother Earth. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. There's so much gratitude, so much just down homeness, so much just being in it all together, y'all. Sometimes I think we all get caught up in some of the things and the stories in our brains and the minds and all that stuff, and it's it can be a trip. It can get kind of heavy, so you want to be sure to just remember to give yourself a big old hug. Come on, you know how it goes around here. One more time, here we go. Come on. Oh yeah. Hug it out, y'all. You know how it is. So that's what we do. Just gotta start with hugging yourself. Yes, yes. Ooh. All right. Feels good, feels good. Always take a moment every day to find a moment just for you, when you just kind of pause everything else and you just say, hey, I'm beautiful, I am a miracle, I'm magical, I am sublime, I am divine, I am never not on time. This moment right now, you get in there and showing one another how to elevate the state. Yeah, the sky's blue, dreaming you. So now that you're here, what you gonna do? Find that moment. Compose your symphony, your masterpiece of joy, as your brother Carlos Santana would say, would call it. Yeah. So yeah, let's see, we might flip the script, do a little song, start it off. All right. Well, we'll try. We'll give it a whirl. This is another original. It's called In Between. A couple years ago, wrote this. The sun is rising, just like it always do. The ocean waving at us down in folds. The grass is grieving, the soil it howls. Mountains mourning, and the wolf he growls. The two-legged mammals done lost their place, racing towards a dark future, acting like a disgrace. Dim come the great towers, stretching towards the sky, monuments of powder, all based on lie, chasing it after power, false notions of control. I'll go take a cold shower under the moonbeams, crawl as real as this moment. Open your heart to this truth. The style station after shadows. Know you are God's proof. Life is so precious. Take your lover's hand. She's all you got, son, in this barren land. So make your life more, treat her nice and sweet, and make her your queen, son, the savior and defeat. She is a goddess, oh, she is a dream, yeah. She's all that matters in the in-between. She is a goddess, oh, she is a dream, yeah, yeah. She's all you got, son, in the in-between. In the in-between. In the in-between. She's all you got, son. She is your dream. She's all that matters in the in-between. All right. Yeah, so that's in between, y'all. It's like a little love song to me, anyways, a love song to the earth and to each and every single one of us. And you find your place in all of it. And if you know that you are that strand in the web, no matter what, no matter how, no matter why, no matter when, that is the fact of the matter, then there is no beginning and there is no end, my friend. So, yeah, right on. So let's do that. Another reading from that book, The 33 Myths of the System. This is myth number 5, The Myth of Meritocracy. This book is by Mr. Darren Allen. It's the system, the myth of meritocracy. Privilege begets privilege, and wealth, fame, and elite education produce in the system the conditions by which they reproduce themselves. The principal reason why people with posh surnames have been in positions of power for hundreds or even thousands of years, why wealthy accents dominate the media, wealthy ascents dominate the media, the arts and elite education, and why top jobs are staffed by elite graduates who grew up in wealthy houses is not merit and has never been, but family connections, social capital, well-connected friends, cultural capital, ascent, taste, manner, hyper-literacy, and the elite stylings of thinking, inheritance, and lavish inter vivos gifts of money and property to family members, and the constraints of the market, which force the poor and culturally excluded out of high-cost social networks and unpaid internships, all of which keep power confined to the ambit of the classes which currently wield it. Elites prefer all of this to be a secret or at best unmentionable. Instead, they like to promote the idea that we live in what they call a meritocracy, a fabled land where ability, intelligence, pluck, and daring do determines success. It is not, they want us to believe, through luck, crime, glad-handing, nepotism, and all the massive advantages of family wealth that inept half-men get their big leather chairs, their exciting jobs as wildlife cameramen, their elite degrees, or their amazing breaks in the art world, but through talent, attitude, hard work, and moral fiber. Certainly we should give a few brainy, tasteful, and crucially ambitious poor people a hand up, getting an infusion of new blood into the boardroom, deprive the working classes of their leaders, and give the impression of equal opportunity to the educational system. The professional left call this integration, but the current name is tokenism. But whatever you call it, there's really only one sort of person who naturally deserves to sit at the banqueting table. The best and brightest. In the past, it was divinely ordained, the twice born and the genetically superior who deserved to rule. Today, it is the cultured, the industrious, the upright, and most especially the qualified. How the system man loves that word, qualified. How very noble it sounds, how dignified, how redolent of rightful, earned authority. That these qualifications are given by the system to those who own it or have shown themselves gifted at serving it, and this does not occur to him. He has achieved his success, while the multitude are destined for a life of debt, peonage, and the misery of actually productive work. All of which is sad, to be sure, but it's also kind of fair, you see, because it's a meritocracy. And so the excluded, the intractable, the slow, and the unlucky kind of deserve it. Those on the bottom floor of the tower of earthly delights are there because they do not have enough merit. It's not their lack of security, resources, time, or power that has stunted their capacities. Is because they are hedonistic, fatalistic, impulsive, irresponsible, and the perennial complaint of elites despairing at the weird reluctance of lower sorts to generate wealth for them. Lazy. They should study more, plan ahead, defer gratification, raise their expectations, work harder, learn to spell, have a makeover, and cook more risotto. Pull themselves up by their bootstraps, is the popular idiom has it. Which might seem like a paradoxical image, but on deeper reflection, the image of millions upon millions of cripples rolling around trying to pull themselves onto their own feet by tugging away at their bootlaces for their entire feudal lives, well, that turns out to be more or less perfect. The myth of meritocracy is also used to harvest the support of the working class for right-wing policies designed to punish the poor and hand more of the wealth they create over to responsible types who like to think they run things. It would seem on the face of it utterly astonishing that so many people at the bottom of society should vote for representatives of the hyper-wealthy, but in fact, a large number of the working class believe themselves to be, as John Steinbeck put it, temporarily embarrassed millionaires. They assume the mythic meritocracy will one day soon elevate them onto the top floor where the top people will take care of their glittering assets. They cannot imagine that there is another kind of wealth at their very fingertips. Because all this talk about social mobility, tokenism, equality of opportunity, equality of outcome, and whatnot masks a far wider and far more disabling restraint on merit, which is never officially mentioned or discussed. When political commentators talk about merit, they are referring to the ability to memorize contextless facts, pass intensely abstract intelligence tests, innovate in market-constrained directions, work and hyper-specialize in work, to the point of total physical and psychological breakdown, accept confinement and coercion as inevitable, or ideally as magical and fun, and successfully fuck other people over. In short, succeed at school and at work, that is merit. And a system which rewards it is what clever and insensitive mediocrities want. Just as white supremacists want a system which rewards whiteness, feminisms want a system which rewards women, and Scientologists want a system which rewards Scientology. Genuine creative genius, true community spirit, radical generosity, sensitivity, unconditional love, honesty, moral courage, craft skill, self-sufficiency, spontaneity, and responsibility do not count as merit and never have. And so the fact that these qualities and those who possess them are punished everywhere in the system is neither here nor there. Prejudice towards white people, that's a problem for right-wing white people. Prejudice towards Jewish people, that's a problem for Jewish folk. Prejudice towards women, that's a problem for feminists. Prejudice towards working class accents, that's a problem for socialists. But prejudice towards sensitive people, prejudice towards independent people, prejudice towards honest people, prejudice towards loving people, ha ha ha. Those aren't problems. You can't even see those things. The reader may wonder, as one or two senior editors, CEOs, upper managers, and department heads occasionally do, how this punishment can occur, how it can be that principled, capable, sensitive, and honest people are prevented from rising through the system, while those at the top are given a free pass. Nobody tells me what to write, says the wealthy journalist. Nobody tells me what to think, says the elite student. Nobody tells me what to do, says the director general. But nobody has to tell them what to write, think, or do, which is how they rose in the first place. Those who reject the cruel and pointless restraints of forced schooling, the ludicrous assignments, the meaningless syllabuses, and the mind-numbing tedium of it all are marked as uncooperative, recalcitrant, undisciplined, strong-willed, unable to function well in a team, or in more serious cases, as conspiracy theorists, terrorists, or afflicted with a mental illness. Those who defy the manager, who seek to circumvent the paperwork, who question the entire point, such difficult people are passed over for promotion. Their contracts are not renewed. Their grip on the railings is released and they are let go. In a Huxleyan system, there is no need for a shady group of evil capitalists to tell people what to think when the system, and consequently the self, is structured so as to automatically select for obedience, conformity, mediocrity, and for the top jobs, complete insanity. Because negative personality traits tend to occur together, managers, team leaders, and other heads tend not merely to be cowardly spaniels or cruel monomaniacs, but beset by all manner of weird defects, strangely aggressive or bizarre, awkward and indirect, or mind-bogglingly boring or laughably uptight and self-regarding. or so crawlingly creepy or hauntingly absent, not really there. Not that such people don't usually have some kind of human-like core struggling to get out, or that more recognizably human leaders don't exist. But in both cases, the immense pressure that the system puts on such humanity tends in one direction only: to break down. And that, my friends, is myth number 5, the myth of meritocracy. One of my favorite chapters in this entire book, that one is. So I hope you enjoyed. All right, you. So since we kicked it off with the tune, we kind of busted a move in a whole different direction on this one. Not really sure why, but love when that happens. Just kind of reminds you to sort of trust in the moment, right? Stay in it. Don't try to push against it. It's nicer if you can just ease on into it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like this woman. She wrote this book called Loving What Is. Her name is Byron Katie, and I've never met that beautiful lady, but I did fully vibe on that book and kind of do go through the exercises and the consideration of what she's offering as a teaching, as a tool. You can put your mind through it. And so the whole notion, and so check it out. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but you ask yourself 4 questions, basically. It's really that simple. 4 very, very, very simple questions when you're having a thought. And it kind of just leads you right back into that place. Initially, it's a little tough. I found it to be anyways, because it asks such honesty of yourself, a willingness to sort of just allow the rawness, all that emotional stuff that, we usually try to ignore about ourselves and what we're thinking or feeling and stuff like that. But, so yeah, just the 4 simple questions. Anyways, loving what is. So this is what happens. Sometimes I just get off into these like, woo. So yeah, just think on that. Loving what is. Obviously it's easy to do when we're having a, beautiful moment, right? But what if you can get to that a spaciousness where you're able to just love what is. Yeah, I don't know. I would suggest that it's a pretty powerful instrument, indeed. So let's find some poems. A couple poems here before we head on that for today. Let's do this. First one we'll do here is came right on up on into it. This one is a poem by one of my favorite artists and musicians, just an artist to pull on. Cool cat, cool brother. I did get to see him at concert one time in New York City, of course. Would have been super cool to even hang out with him for a few minutes, and even just that. Anyways, Mr. Lou Reed is this fella, and this poem is called Video Violence. The currents rage deep inside us. This is the age of video violence. The currents rage deep down inside us. This is the age of video violence. Up in the morning, drinking his coffee, turns on the TV to see some slasher movie. Cartoon-like women tied up and sweaty, panting and screaming, Thank you. Have a nice day. His heart is pounding. He switches the channel, looking for something other than rape or murder or beatings or torture, but except for Walt Disney, it's a twisted alliance, this age of video violence. Down at his job, his boss sits there screaming. If he loses his job, life loses its meaning. His son is in high school, there's nothing he's learning. He sits by the TV, watching Corvettes exploding. The currents rage deep inside us in this age of video violence. The currents rage deep inside us in this age of video violence. Down at the bar, some woman is topless. She's acneed and scarred. Her hair is a mess, while he shoves $5 down her exotic panties. The video jukebox is playing Madonna, while just down the block at some local theater, they're grabbing their crotches at the 13th beheading. As the dead rise to live, the live sink to die. The currents are deep and raging inside. Our good working stiff looks a whore in the eye, ties her to a bed while it beats her back bloody, and then back at home, drinking more instant coffee, calls some redneck evangelist he's seen on TV and says, the currents rage, the dawn's upon us. This is the age of video violence. No age of reason is landing upon us. This is the age of video violence. The currents rage so deep within us. This is the age of video violence. The currents rage so deep down inside us. This is the age of video violence. I'm just thinking we're going to just leave it right there for today. That's what we're going to do. I really, really want you all to know how much I appreciate you coming on down, listening, taking your time just to be here. You know, I do these, I don't know. Why the fuck do I do this? You know, why do I do this? Any of it. I think for me, man, it's all about this. This is just for a moment. This, whatever this is, this life, this thing, this being we're doing, this being and the doing. Yeah, all of it. It's well, like I said in that song, in between, you know, it's precious. And sometimes if you can just take a breath, just feel it. Just put your hands, just put them on the earth. Just, you know, put them on your brother's. You know, take your brother's hand, hold his hand. Take your sister's hand, hold her hand. Don't go up and cuddle with your dog or your cat. Step out into the morning sun. Feel it on your face. That's what I'm talking about. So love what is, y'all. And thank you, Mr. Lou Reed. Dude, that thing, that what we just read, what you just wrote, I mean, that hit and just reading that, I gotta speak to this on this, just because it was so intense. It's so, when I read these poems, I haven't. I mean, truthfully, I just open the books and I just read them. I haven't read them before, and most of the time I'm not even sure which ones I'm going to read. So it really is very much about just being present. And sometimes, and this one was one of them where it's like, wow, that song is so intense. That poem, I mean, it's so damn. And I'm like, whoa. I mean, it was totally just whoa. So yeah, one love, y'all. Again, thank you so much for stopping on by. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. You're beautiful. You are. And until next time, this is Mr. Stone Petoskey saying peace.